You know that feeling when you walk into Woolworths, grab your usual groceries, and head home thinking you've made decent choices for your family? I used to feel exactly the same way. Every week, same routine, same confidence. Then I started actually reading what was on those shelves, and what I discovered made me question every single shopping trip I'd ever made. Because what's sitting in plain sight at Australia's most trusted supermarket isn't quite what most of us think it is. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's what's interesting about Woolworths. It's where most Australian families do their weekly shop, right? We trust it. We've trusted it for decades. And that trust is exactly what makes what I'm about to show you so significant. Because when you trust something completely, you stop questioning it. You stop reading labels. You stop comparing. You just grab what looks familiar and move on. And that's precisely when things get complicated. Let me paint you a picture. You're standing in the health food aisle. You see products with green packaging, words like natural and wholesome plastered across the front, maybe a little leaf logo here and there. Your brain makes an instant decision. Healthy choice. Good for the family. Worth the extra few dollars. You don't even think about it anymore, do you? It's automatic. But here's what nobody tells you in that moment. Those products you're reaching for, the ones that cost significantly more because they promise something better, they're often made by the exact same manufacturers as the budget versions sitting 3 shelves down. Same factory, similar ingredients, different packaging, different price tag. And Woolworths knows you'll pay more for that feeling of making a better choice. Now, before you think this is just about generic brands versus name brands, let me stop you there. This goes deeper than that, much deeper. Because what's happening isn't just about price differences or marketing tactics you'd expect from any retailer. What's happening is a systematic approach to shelf placement, packaging design, and product positioning that's specifically engineered to guide your choices in ways that benefit the retailer far more than they benefit you. And it's happening every single time you walk down those aisles. Take the bread aisle, for example. Seems straightforward enough, right? Bread is bread. But watch what happens when you actually start comparing. The premium bread, the one that costs $6 or $7 a loaf, sits right at eye level. Perfect position. Easy grab. The label talks about ancient grains, artisan methods, traditional baking. Sounds wonderful. Then you check the ingredients list, and there it is. The exact same improvers, preservatives, and processing aids as the $3 loaf sitting down near your ankles. The difference? Marketing, packaging, placement. That's what you're paying extra for. Not better ingredients. Not healthier bread. Just a better story. And here's where it gets really interesting. You'd think that the products Woolworths promotes most heavily, the ones in the prime positions with the special tickets and the loyalty program bonuses, would be the best value or the highest quality. That would make sense, wouldn't it? But spend an hour actually comparing, and you'll find something curious. The products getting the most promotional space are often the ones with the highest profit margins for the retailer. They're not necessarily better for you. They're not necessarily better value. They're just better for Woolworths' bottom line. And the way this whole system is set up, you're encouraged to think these promoted products are the smart choice, when really, they're just the profitable choice for someone else. Let's talk about the health food section specifically, because this is where things get genuinely fascinating. You walk into that section, and immediately the prices jump. Everything costs more. The assumption built into your brain is simple. Costs more? Must be better. Must be healthier. Must be worth it for my family. But here's what happens when you start reading every single label in that section. You find products labeled as natural that contain the same additives and preservatives as conventional products. You find organic items that are organic only in the most technical, legal sense, but processed to within an inch of their life. You find whole grain products that are mostly refined flour, with a token amount of whole grain added for the label claim. And every single one of these products costs significantly more than alternatives that are nutritionally almost identical. The meat section tells another version of this story. You see those packages of premium mince, the ones in the fancy packaging with pictures of green pastures and happy cattle. The price is substantial. The marketing suggests you're buying something special, something better than regular mince. So you check the label for country of origin, for the actual meat content, for what you're really getting. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, you discover that what you're paying premium prices for is a product that's been processed, packaged, and presented in a way that suggests quality that isn't necessarily there in the actual product. The packaging does all the work. Your assumptions do the rest. Now, here's something that really opened my eyes. The whole concept of specials and markdowns. We've been trained to feel like we're getting a deal when we see those bright yellow tickets, haven't we? Marked down, special price, save now. Your brain lights up. You grab extra. You stock up. Seems smart. But what if I told you that many of those specials aren't actually savings at all? What if the regular price was artificially high to begin with, specifically so that the special price looks amazing when really it's just what the product should have cost all along? This isn't some conspiracy theory. This is documented retail practice called price anchoring, and it happens all the time. You see a product regularly priced at $12, marked down to $8, and you feel like you've saved $4. But what if that product is $7 at a different retailer every single day? You didn't save anything. You just paid more while feeling good about it. The fresh produce section seems like it should be safer, right? It's just fruit and vegetables. How complicated can that be? But even here, there are layers to unpack. You see those perfect apples, uniform in size and color, priced at $5 or $6 per kilogram. Then, right next to them, you see apples that look almost identical, labeled as imperfect or odd bunch, priced at maybe $3 per kilogram. Same variety, grown in the same regions, often from the same suppliers. The only difference is appearance, and sometimes the difference is so minimal you'd need a magnifying glass to spot it. But because one is marketed as premium and the other as imperfect, you pay double for essentially the same apple. And most shoppers don't even notice because they're not comparing. They're just grabbing what looks normal and moving on. Let's shift to something most families buy every single week: milk. The milk fridge at Woolworths is a masterclass in confusing consumers. You've got full cream, light, skim, A2, lactose-free, high protein, organic, grass-fed, and about 15 other variations. Each one costs differently. Each one makes different claims. Each one promises something specific. But here's what's wild about this. The nutritional differences between many of these varieties are marginal at best. The protein milk costs nearly double the regular milk, but offers maybe an extra 3 or 4 grams of protein per serve. You could get the same protein boost from a handful of nuts that costs far less. The organic milk costs substantially more, and yes, it meets organic standards, but the nutritional content is virtually identical to conventional milk. You're paying for a production method, not for better nutrition. The grass-fed milk suggests happier cows and better milk, but Australian dairy cows are predominantly grass-fed anyway. It's not special, it's standard. But by creating a specific grass-fed label and charging more for it, you're led to believe you're getting something extraordinary, when really, you're getting what should be ordinary. The pattern repeats everywhere you look. The cheese section, the yogurt fridge, the spreads and condiments aisle, premium versions, organic versions, natural versions, all sitting alongside standard versions that are functionally very similar but cost half as much. And the positioning, the packaging, the label claims, they're all designed to make you feel like the expensive option is the responsible choice, the smart choice, the choice that shows you care about quality and health. But when you actually compare ingredients, nutritional panels, country of origin, you realize you're paying for perception more than reality. Here's something that'll really make you think differently about your shopping. Woolworths has loyalty programs, right? You scan your card, you collect points, you get personalized offers. Feels good. Feels like they're rewarding you for being a loyal customer. But what's actually happening with all that data? Every single purchase you make is tracked, analyzed, and used to understand your buying patterns. They know what you buy, when you buy it, how much you're willing to pay for it. And then they use that information to send you offers that look personalized and helpful, but are really designed to keep you buying the higher margin products. Your loyalty isn't being rewarded, it's being monetized. You're giving them information that helps them sell to you more effectively. And in return, you get a few dollars off products that were probably overpriced to begin with. Now, I want to be clear about something. This isn't about demonizing Woolworths. This isn't about saying everything there is terrible or dishonest. It's about understanding that supermarkets are businesses designed to maximize profit, and they're very, very good at it. The issue isn't that they're evil. The issue is that we've stopped paying attention. We've become passive shoppers, trusting that the products in prime positions or with premium pricing are automatically better choices. And that passivity costs us, literally and figuratively. Think about how you actually shop. You probably have a mental list of what you need. You walk the same route through the store every time. You grab the same brands from the same spots on the shelves. You barely glance at prices because you assume they're roughly the same as last week. You definitely don't read ingredient lists or compare nutritional panels because who has time for that, right? You're busy. You're tired. You just want to get the shopping done and get home. And that's exactly the shopper supermarkets love. The one who trusts, who doesn't question, who grabs and goes. Because that shopper is easy to influence, easy to upsell, easy to guide toward the products that make the most money for the retailer. But here's the thing. Once you start paying attention, really paying attention, your entire shopping experience changes. You start seeing the patterns. You start noticing how products are positioned. You start reading labels instead of marketing claims. You start comparing prices per unit instead of just grabbing what's on special. And suddenly, you realize how much money you've been leaving on the table. How many choices you've made based on packaging rather than content. How many times you've paid extra for basically nothing. Let me give you a practical example of what this looks like in action. You're buying pasta sauce. The premium range costs about $7 or $8 a jar. The mid-range costs about $4 or $5. The budget range costs about $2 or $3. The premium range has beautiful packaging, talks about Italian recipes, uses words like authentic and traditional. So you buy it, thinking you're getting something genuinely better. But when you actually read the labels, here's what you might find. The premium sauce has more sugar than the budget version. It has the same preservatives. The tomato content is similar. The country of origin might even be the same. What you're paying extra for is the story on the label, not what's actually in the jar. And this pattern repeats across hundreds of products throughout the store. The yogurt section is another perfect example. Premium yogurt brands cost 2 or 3 times what standard yogurt costs. The labels talk about probiotics, natural ingredients, no artificial anything. Sounds great. Then you check the sugar content and realize that premium yogurt has more sugar than some ice creams. You check the ingredient list and see thickeners, stabilizers, and flavors that don't exactly scream natural. You check the actual probiotic content and discover that regular yogurt has similar beneficial bacteria anyway. What you're paying for is marketing, not meaningful nutritional superiority. But because the packaging is beautiful and the claims sound healthy, you trust it, you buy it, you pay more, and you think you're making a better choice, when really, you're just making a more expensive choice. Here's what really gets me about all of this. Woolworths could make this easier for consumers. They could provide clearer information. They could organize products in ways that make comparing easier instead of harder. They could educate shoppers about unit pricing, about reading labels, about understanding what terms like natural and organic actually mean legally versus what they mean in marketing speak. But there's no incentive for them to do that, because informed shoppers spend less. Informed shoppers buy strategically. Informed shoppers don't fall for premium pricing on products that don't deserve premium prices. And that's not good for profit margins. So what do you actually do with this information? Do you boycott Woolworths entirely? Do you spend 3 hours reading every label every time you shop? Do you become so paranoid about marketing tactics that grocery shopping becomes miserable? No, that's not the point. The point is awareness. The point is understanding that you have more power than you think in how you shop. The point is recognizing that the most expensive option isn't automatically the best option, and the most heavily promoted option isn't automatically the smartest option. Start small. Next time you're reaching for that premium product, stop for just 10 seconds. Read the label. Compare it to the standard version. Look at the actual ingredients, not the marketing claims. Check the unit price, not just the package price. See if there's actually a meaningful difference, or if you're paying extra for packaging and positioning. Do this enough times, and it becomes automatic. You develop a sense for what's worth the extra money and what isn't. You become a conscious shopper instead of an automatic shopper. And that shift, that simple shift in awareness, can save you thousands of dollars a year, while often getting you products that are just as good, sometimes better, than the premium alternatives you were buying before. The real power in all of this isn't in completely changing where you shop or what you buy. The real power is in understanding how the game is played, so you can make genuine choices instead of manipulated ones. Because, at the end of the day, your money matters, your family's health matters, And you deserve to make decisions based on reality, not on clever packaging and strategic shelf placement. Woolworths isn't going to change how they operate, but you can change how you shop. And that makes all the difference. So next time you're walking those aisles, remember this: that premium product at eye level with the beautiful packaging and the health claims might not be any better than the budget option 3 shelves down. That special price might not actually be special. That organic label might not mean what you think it means. And the loyalty program tracking your every purchase might be benefiting them far more than it's benefiting you. You're not powerless in this. You're just possibly not paying attention. And now that you know what to look for, you can't go back to shopping the same way. You'll see it everywhere. The patterns, the tactics, the clever ways your choices are being influenced. And seeing it is the first step to shopping smarter, spending less, and actually getting what you pay for, instead of just what you're sold.